James, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Good reason to be late. Always good to hear from Jim. So good
Yes.
for you guys. Yeah, good to be with you and good to talk some Syracuse hoops.
All right, so you were in Philly for that Syracuse Drexel game, and I guess let's start there before we get into Monmouth and what lies ahead. What stood out to you from that win on Saturday?
Yeah, I think just the second half defense. Those guys really turned it on with the full court pressure in the second half. But all the players kind of said after the game that Red got on them and really challenged them at the half, and they responded in a big way. So yeah, I thought the defense was really responded in the second half.
All right, we've seen this team jump from 68th in KenPom in the preseason to now 48th in KenPom after 3 games, and I know the competition hasn't been there, and they've blown out these 3 teams. But has your opinion of this team changed at all from the preseason, even just a little bit from where they were 3 weeks ago or so to where they are now, and what the ceiling could be for this team?
Yeah, it has, and especially on the defensive end, right? I think, we have to kind of mention and qualify the defense is, playing lesser competition. But I think the way that they're defending and the personnel that they have make them, a different defensive team, especially with William Kyle there in the middle. But, yeah, I think the defense has been good. They're tracking kills this year. The bench has been more engaged. So I think they're doing some different things beyond just personnel. But I do think this team does have a little bit more potential than maybe we thought coming into the season.
He asked you if they're better. Is there anything that you weren't expecting that kind of worries you about this team?
Yeah, I think the rebounding, Paulie, that was a concern on Saturday. I can't quite pinpoint a reason, but I think Donnie Freeman's going to average, more than 4 rebounds a game. He hasn't quite done it yet. But, I think William Kyle needs some help down there on the glass. Nate Kings has been good. He's gotten involved. He sticks his nose in there and gets involved on the rebounding. But I think they need a little bit more help from the forwards and maybe the guards too.
You've brought up William Kyle a couple of times now. When you look at this team from an individual perspective, is there an individual who has surprised you or is better than you thought? Is it William Kyle? Is it somebody else?
It's William Kyle, and you know what? It's Kai and Anthony too. I think I came into the year with lower expectations than the way that he's played, but his ability to come in and obviously score the ball, but really his mentality has stuck out to me. I think he's been really good. Coming into the year, I would have said if he can give you 8 to 10 points off the bench, that would be good, and he's exceeded that. Obviously, JJ's been out, but he's really stood out. I've been super impressed with him, not only on the court but off the court as well.
Obviously, everybody wants to know, is this a tournament team? That's the question we get a lot. I'm sure you get it a lot as well. Hard to say this early, obviously, because everybody's playing cupcakes and, everybody looks good for the most part here in the early going. But do you think this is an NCAA tournament caliber team? I guess I will ask you.
Yeah, it's $1 million question. I don't know. I don't know. I think we've seen this program in the past, and we've gotten out in front of our skis a little bit. So I feel like it's still too early to tell. We'll see how the defense holds up when they play better teams. I think if gun to my head, I think if you're asking me right now, I'd say they probably have a 40% chance to make the NCAA tournament. But they've got to win one of these games here. The Players Era Festival or Tennessee. If they don't win one of those, they're really going to have to outperform in the ACC portion of the schedule. If they don't win any of those games, Paulie, what will they be?
Behind the 8 ball.
They will be behind the 8 ball, yes, as we discussed at length last year. J.J. Starling reportedly going to be back in the lineup tonight. Mike Waters, the first to report it last night, that J.J.'s back, and I think we all kind of assumed this, right, that if it wasn't serious, they would at least get him some run in the game leading up to the Vegas trip, so it makes sense that he's coming back tonight. What do you want to see from J.J. when he's out there?
Just him to play aggressive, for him to play his game. Don't overthink it. Do what you do. But really for him just to get some reps in this game and get comfortable back out there. Find his shots, play within the team, and play the way that we know the JJ can.
What would be a good result tonight against Monmouth? I think the spread is, 21.5? KenPom's got it as a 19-point SU win. What kind of margin are you looking for tonight?
Yeah, I think if Syracuse scores in the 80s and can keep Monmouth, under 60, I think that'd be a good result for them. We've seen the defense play really well. Drexel's the highest scoring team that they've played, and they held them to 50. So I think for the defense to continue to play well, and then offensively, if you can push it, past into the 80s, that would be good for Syracuse.
We had Mike Waters on our Orange Nation TV show last night, and I asked him this question. I'm going to ask you. I asked him, I said, give me what's the % chance Syracuse wins at least one game in Las Vegas, and then what's the % chance Syracuse wins 2 games in Las Vegas? So I'll let you take a stab at it.
It's hard to know without that third opponent, but if you lose to Houston and you lose to Kansas, presumably you should get one of the lower teams in that thing. So I would say a 35% chance that they win at least one, and maybe a 10% chance that they win 2. I don't think they'll beat Houston, but Kansas might be a little bit vulnerable without Darren Peterson in the lineup right now.
Yeah, and that's where Mike went with the second question. He put it at 50-50 that they win 1. He put it at 40% that they win 2, and I said, "Oh, wow, 40%, really 40%." And that's exactly what he pointed to with Kansas. He thinks they might be, a little vulnerable with Peterson out, and so we'll see. I think we all look at that Houston game as that's going to be a tall order, but maybe they could go 2-1 in Vegas, and if they did, I mean, that would be a huge start for this team, heading into, the rest of their schedule. As you look around the rest of the ACC right now, James, Coach Boeheim was on with us earlier, and he mentioned, Wake Forest almost knocking off Michigan, probably should have won that game. Florida State had Florida on the ropes. Louisville has looked really good, clobbering Kentucky, and North Carolina with a big win over Kansas. What do you make of the rest of the ACC? I guess, first part of that question, do you think the conference is actually better this year? And secondly, who has impressed you the most out of the conference here in the early going?
Yeah, I think it's better. We'll have to see how much better they are when the competition really heats up here. But, yeah, I think Duke's been good, what you would expect from Duke. And NC State's an interesting team. They won last night versus VCU. Quadir Copeland played. He had a pretty good steal down the stretch. But I think NC State's an interesting team, and I think the league will be improved overall. We'll have to see. There's some tougher games coming up, but I think it's a better league overall than it was a season ago.
All right, James. Good stuff as always. We appreciate you coming out. We appreciate your patience. So sorry that we took you a little bit late here, but thank you for the insight, and enjoy the game tonight. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, no worries at all. It's always my pleasure. So thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
All right, James Szuba from Nunes Magician joining us here on the program as we continue to try and get back on time. What do you got there, Paulie?
The Wine and Chocolate Festival, Steve. I'm going to force us to not be on time by making another read. And don't tell me to wrap it up, because I'll go slow.
That was more of a speed up than it was
Saturday,
a wrap it up.
November 29th, Wine and Chocolate Festival. In the Horticulture Building, Stephen, at the New York State Fairgrounds. Sip your way through samples from New York State's wineries and distilleries. Holiday shopping, local vendors on Shop Local Saturday. Limited tickets available at wineandchocolatefestivals.com.
Maybe that's your secret to saying horticulture. You just have to slow down.
It should be your secret to everything in life. Just slow down.
Slow down.
And do it right.
Yeah.
Slow down and do it right.
We're going to take a timeout. We're going to get to the match game.
I'm going to go out and yell at all of the ESPN radio staff right now.
Why is that?
I'm just going to yell that. Everybody just slow down and do it right. And everybody will think, oh, my God, Paulie's mad out there.
All right, you go do that.
I've never heard him yell before.
We'll take a quick break. We've got today's business coming up later. We've got the match game coming up next. Back after this on ESPN Radio.